Yes, good morning from the Pennsylvania delegation.
Hey, good morning, Lee. Let me introduce you real quick. We're in the middle of a segment, but I told Lonnie to take your call. This is Lee Snover from the Pennsylvania delegation. The reason we've been talking to her this week from Pennsylvania, from the floor, is you're right up front. Thank you for those pictures. Welcome again this morning.
Oh, yeah, it was wonderful yesterday. We're having such a great time. There's just so much going on, though. I mean, it's a whirlwind.
It's a whirlwind. The excitement last night of Donald Trump being nominated. Tell us a little bit about that. And some of the people that were trying to, is the never Trump over? Is it finally done?
It's finally done. They're completely defeated. Last night their only effort was to make sure that the other candidates' names were, their votes were read. And I was totally okay with that. Actually, I have to be honest with you, it really didn't bother me when Ohio voted for Kasich. I mean, if my governor, a Republican governor were running from Pennsylvania, we'd probably vote for him too, knowing it didn't affect the outcome. So that didn't bother me that bad if it didn't affect the outcome. So I thought that was okay. But the Never Trumps, what they're doing, though, is they're still emailing constantly. We're receiving several correspondence from them about, how bad the convention was and how wrong they were, it was and all of that. But they're defeated. They don't have, I don't think there's anything else they could do from here on out.
Okay, well, last night, tell us a little bit about the speeches last night. A star was born. I think the Republican Party has a problem last night because one of the things, Lee, that I have picked up on that I don't know if people are talking about, you got a nominee now that has never been mayor, councilman, congressman, senator. This guy is as outside as you can get. And his son steps to the podium every convention, because you know all too well, conventions, somebody leaves as a new star. Sadly enough, Obama was the star at the Kerry convention several years ago. He was the star, but every convention a star leaves. What they're talking about this morning is Donald Trump Jr. hit a home run.
Absolutely, and I have to tell you, Pennsylvania's taking credit. Donald Trump Jr. has spent most of his life in Pennsylvania. He went to boarding schools in Pennsylvania. He went to college in Pennsylvania. He owns a place in Pennsylvania. He comes to Pennsylvania all the time. He's an avid hunter. So he was here yesterday at our breakfast telling us how much he loves Pennsylvania.
Donald Trump Jr. was there?
Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. is a big PA guy. I mean, when Donald Trump was campaigning through Pennsylvania, Don Trump Jr. was there like every day, going to all the small towns. He was there. So he loves Pennsylvania, talks about it all the time. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of him since we're a swing state when we get back home. But he was awesome, and his delivery was awesome, and it was, he had that willingness, like his father, to say the things that nobody else was willing to say, and he didn't even. You could see like the difference. I think the reason the star was born, when other people do it, sometimes they're doing it just for, like, you're waiting for the applause. But there's something about the Trumps, when they deliver it, it makes you believe it, and you do believe it, and you feel like they're like you.
Well, because
they're not like you.
Because both of you and I, because both you and I've known from day one, because we both come from a construction background, a family construction background. Trump has connected with the mood of the country. And when Donald Jr. was talking about his dad takes him to construction sites, and that's how they grew up, that's just real.
Oh, yeah, it is. I really believe it. And, I've heard stories, a real funny story Don Jr. has told, and I don't know if anybody's heard this before, about one time where his dad asked him to get him a soda out of the fridge, and he said no. And he said, no, get it yourself. And then Donald Trump jacked him up against the refrigerator. He said, that's the last time. He goes, from here on out, the rest of my life, I'll get my dad any drink he wants. So, they have these stories, they have these stories that are real.
Yeah.
That sound like something everybody's had in their kitchen. You know what I mean?
So Don Trump had the nerve. Junior had the nerve one day to say, "Get your own drink," and that's the last time that happened, huh?
I said, no, get your own soda. And next thing you know, I was pinned up against the refrigerator. So that was the last time I didn't get my dad a drink. So,
oh, you made my day.
People do that. When someone's willing to tell you that story in politics, you know they're not politicians. They're real people.
Listen, you've got a busy, busy day. I've got a couple things. I'm listening to the media, and hopefully you're not this morning, but I'm listening to the media. I get up and I watch Morning Joe and several of them at 4 a.m. so I can keep up with what they're trying to spin. The spin this morning is the left are all upset, basically, that Ben Carson said don't vote for the devil. How about Ben Carson last night, the electricity in the room?
Don Jr. and Ben Carson had the highest applause. Ben Carson was wonderful. Oh my goodness. I mean, when Ben Carson took the stage, people don't really realize how he is beloved. I mean, when he took the stage, everyone with their cameras rushed the podium. I mean, it was really interesting. People just really just respect him and love him, and they want to be close to him. I mean, it's different. A lot of people have given wonderful speeches. When Ben Carson came to the podium, I saw people moving closer. Like, that's the kind of guy they want to be close to. You know what I mean? They really want to be up close with him and hear what he's saying. And he's an amazing man, and his delivery was great, too. And I related to that, and I understood what he was saying. And I don't know why the left is offended by that. That's the same people who wanted to take God out of their convention.
Yeah, exactly.
What was wrong with what he said?
Exactly. Okay, moving on. I want to know if you went from, now this is going from the media, so you're a delegate there, and I want to know if you went from enthusiastic to nasty, because they're saying this morning it went from enthusiastic to nasty when Chris Christie did his list of indictments for Hillary Clinton, and the delegates started saying, lock her up. So are you in the group? We want to know straight from you. Did you go nasty last night?
I didn't go nasty, but I'm the loudest cheer on Lock Her Up. I'm on Lock Her Up. I did Lock Her Up the night before Christy came.
Are you leading Lock Her Up chants now?
Yes, I am doing
Oh
Lock
my
Her Up.
God!
And you know what? We're not nasty.
I know it.
No.
I'm telling I'm going with the media.
Yeah, the jury is finally getting to bring out the real verdict. That's what they're upset about. The verdict should have been guilty, and we're finally getting to hear it. So it's the truth. That's what's happening.
High 60s, high 60%. High 60% of the American people say Hillary Clinton should have been indicted, and they understand indicted means you could go to jail. So lock her up is not nasty. It is just something that's out there. Okay, now Christie's speech on the indictments, did that go well?
Yes, it went extremely well. People they liked being engaged. And when he was doing the verdict and you got to say guilty, it kept people in his speech.
Right.
And it kept them engaged. So that went over. That was great. And I think that was a great role for Christie. He comes off that way. He's the Northeast. He's the tough guy. He went and did a trial on Hillary Clinton at the convention. That's his role, and it fit perfectly.
Tiffany Trump? Young lady.
She was very sweet, and I liked how she admitted she was nervous, and I thought that was okay. And I thought she did a nice job showing a softer side of Donald, that he actually can be soft with his children and his girls. And I think the people like that.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Anything on tap today? I mean, the nomination's over. Let's put it like this. We know good and well, there's three things. We know good and well Donald Trump loves Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions is the first guy that I can think of in the primary that actually put the red hat on at 35,000 people in Alabama. Okay, so Jeff Sessions, my opinion, he loves him. They nominated him. Alabama did. New York put him over the top. Pennsylvania, you're not just a delegate. You work for campaigns. You always have, and you're not going to get emotional and just say, yes, we can win. So let me hear from a realistic point. The Pennsylvania delegation, very important this week. Swing state. Can you guys go home and pull it out for Donald Trump?
Here's the thing. We need to get united. Pennsylvania is not fully united in the Republican Party. We still have elites, people at the top. The old guard are having a hard time getting on. But my thoughts are, let's go directly to the people. That's how we're going to win, is people keep saying we need to get the unity first, but I don't know if we're ever going to bring them on. They're the people that were still with Kasich yesterday. They're the people that wanted Kasich at our breakfast. You know, you still have that segment that just can't accept this. But I think Pennsylvania can win, but we're going to need help. We're going to need a lot of help. We need states that are not in play, like yours. We need people from your states coming to our states closer to election time and helping us win this thing. Because we really need to get the message out, and we need to turn people out. I think Pennsylvania can do it. Right now, I don't think Donald's ahead in Pennsylvania. I do think he's behind, but I'm only thinking it's 4 or 5 points. He's not far behind, and he hasn't spent any money there. But I think we can do it, but I really do think it's going to be hard, and I think it's going to be, you know, it's going to take everything we got down to the last hour before the polls close. I really do, but I think he can do it.
Okay, look, let's just say this. So what you're saying this morning is anywhere that a state is not in play, you guys need help. You need help from those states. You want states that are not in play to send help to Pennsylvania, and it's going to be a hard sell, but you can do it.
Yeah, and also states that aren't in play, they need to be heavy on social media pushing Pennsylvania, because I'm sure they have friends, relatives, people they know that live in Pennsylvania. So even if they're not in Pennsylvania and they're in other states, they need to be on social media pushing Pennsylvania, anyone they know in Pennsylvania. We have to try to do what Barack Obama did and win this thing in Pennsylvania through every means possible.
Okay, so there you go. Folks, you need to understand this is Lee Snover. She's a delegate from Pennsylvania. The reason we've been focusing a little bit on Pennsylvania, it is a swing state. It is a blue state that has gone blue for many years. That is really in play. The Trump campaign will try to turn Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan around, the Rust Belt, as it's called. They will try to turn that around, so it is in play, and we're trying to stay focused on that. One last thing, Kasich, is he there today? What are they talking about? I could care less. I just wanted to know.
Okay, he backed out of our breakfast because all the delegates orchestrated last night at the convention a walkout during the breakfast, because we don't want to hear from him because he didn't come to this convention. So we found out late last night he backed out before that happened. So he's not coming today. So
Kasich was going to address your delegation this morning and backed out, but your delegation put together a concerted effort to say, hey, we'll walk out, and he basically maybe got that message?
Right, exactly. He backed out because he got the message. We're walking out. You need to get on board with Donald Trump. You need to be at this convention, or we don't want to hear from you.
Are you seeing the ones that are actually going to be in the administration? What I mean is Mitch McConnell came out, and he sounded like a conservative. Paul Ryan did a good job. I listened to his speeches. He did a good job. I listened to all of them come out. I loved the lady from West Virginia last night. I love that. I forget her name. I watched all the way to. I love the lady that managed the winery for Donald Trump, Trump Wines. I watched every one of them. I watched C-SPAN. I do not want to see a network and then have them tell me what I just seen. So I watch C-SPAN. So I watch the ones where the network cuts away. But the point is, we're seeing the ones that will actually be in the administration by their speeches. Chris Christie will be in that administration. Ben Carson will be in that administration, right? You're seeing the difference of the ones coming up there that will actually be in the administration?
Right, exactly. And but the media, I stopped doing a lot of interviews. People are trying to interview me because the only thing they want to focus on is that we don't have party unity. I keep hearing that, and I just I'm tired of it, because we're going directly to the American people. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear who we don't have on board. We're going directly to the American people.
So you and I are having a real on the ground floor conversation. But if you run into the media in Cleveland, because they're all set up, all the stations, they're coming out, unlike me, and wanting to say, Or do you guys feel unified? Have you, unified? Are you leaving?
That's all they want to talk about.
It's all they want
to
talk about.
Kasich. They want to talk about us not being unified. That's Melania's speech. That's all they want to talk about.
Morning Joe, this morning, Morning Joe, you would not think a cop had been killed anywhere in the United States. You would not think that they're burying cops in Louisiana. You wouldn't think anything. Morning Joe took another 20 minutes of how they made a disaster out of him and Malika, on how they made a disaster out of the Republican Party and ruined everything because Melania, they couldn't even get a speechwriter, and now they got a family thing, and you can't run a campaign with a family. I like to have those people working for me that he calls family.
Right, exactly. Morning Joe. Joe is a fake fraud and phony. He's supposed to be a conservative from the 90s. No way. He sold out so many years ago. I don't watch that show. It's so left.
Well, I got to watch both sides, Lee. I even watch Rachel Maddow, so don't get upset, okay? I got to watch all.
Right.
I got to watch all the sides. Your brother watches them, so.
Yeah, but you know what? It's great. At the convention, those people get snubbed so bad.
Do they get snubbed like MSNBC and stuff?
Time. All of them. CNN and MSNBC, they're all snubbed. Everybody snubs them. Everybody avoids them. And I have a big Fox News pin on my jacket.
You got a Fox News pin on your jacket. Everybody snubs them.
And you know what? Greta Van Susteren staff gave that to me. So it's a real nice one. So I'm holding on to it.
You got a Fox pin from Greta's staff.
Yeah, I did. So no one will interview me because they come up and they get closer and they see that Fox News pin.
All right, quick. I got a couple more if you got a minute.
Okay.
Let's go off the convention floor. I think it's interesting on the timing that all of a sudden Megyn Kelly and Gretchen Carlson are trying to put a knife in the back of Roger Ailes at Fox. Any delegates talking about that, or are you guys just too busy to pay attention to it?
Yes, everyone's talking about it.
Are they?
Everyone's talking about splitting the network.
Yes.
And, who's going with who. And the new network's going to be TNN, Trump News Network. So everyone's talking. A lot of people are talking about it. Yes.
Okay.
It's being talked about here. And, a lot of people think the people should leave with Roger Ailes and start their own network, and that splintering off would be even better for Fox or for the network that they leave in, because Fox is starting to get away from it anyway. Because the first night of the convention, Megyn Kelly has Black Lives Matter on.
Yeah.
All this great news going on, and she has Black Lives Matter on. The night that the night of Hillary, when Hillary had those hearings all day, and everyone was talking about the hearings, she did 3 negative Trump segments that night instead of Hillary. So, yeah, she's really, I would love to see her go. I would love to see, them start a new network fresh. That might happen here. Who knows? Well, it might even happen through the Trumps.
Well, you know what, Fox News, I do prefer Fox over MSNBC, over CNN. I do prefer them. But, I'm not going to be shocked one day if the 3 of them on the couch have to do it with, holding cotton candy and stuff like that, because it is just becoming a cooking show. And I do know they actually do bring up things that nobody else does. So I'm still siding that Fox does give me more information than anybody else when it comes to some things. And some things, some of their outlying people work hard on.
Oh, yeah. It is a good network. It's a hard-working network. But I just think these few people are trying to bring it down. And I think it's their left-leaning ways. Because Gretchen Carlson is a huge gun control person.
Yeah, Gretchen's
great. So I think it's their left-leaning ways are wanting to bring down Fox, and this is their way of doing it. So I think the smartest thing for Fox is to do something about it now. And I don't think getting rid of Roger Ailes is the answer. I think good people are going to follow him.
Roger is the one that made them multi-millionaires. And, and now they all have these egos, and, this is what happens when you get a bunch of egos. But, throw FYN TV, that's FYN TV. Tell them to call me. I have room. This could be the largest news network in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
FYN, put my name out there. You excited about hearing Newt Gingrich tonight?
Yes. Oh, yes. I love new. Everybody loves new, and I think everyone's excited about that. It's going to be so exciting.
Well,
So, yeah, I'm excited about new.
I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for your pictures that you're putting up. I will say this, I didn't get any Don Jr. I don't see any Don Jr. pictures.
Oh, maybe I forgot to post them.
Yeah, you better get those up ASAP. What's wrong with you? The Don Jr.'s missing.
I did take the Don Juniors. I must have just not posted them.
All right, let's
get
them. Let's get them up there. Okay, I think it's going to be the first. This is going to be the silly side of our conversation. I think it's going to be the first Republican or first convention ever in history where three ladies, elegant ladies, will give speeches and all three dress designers will sell out. Melania's dress sold out that night. They're talking about plagiarism. The designer could care less. That dress sold out. Tiffany's will sell out. And I'm going to tell you, when Ivanka comes on that stage, those will be the three hottest design dresses in the United States.
Oh, and everybody loves Ivanka. I got to tell you, everyone's waiting for her.
Are they?
Everyone. They're crazy about her. I mean, men and women, they just can't wait to hear from her.
All people want to know is if the party's unified. It looked pretty unified to me.
Well, like I said, it's a different convention now because I went in New York, which was the last convention. Like I said, it's I don't want to say it's less Republican, but it's less Republican elite.
Right.
More people are dressed down. They're not as dressed up as they were in New York.
Right.
And I did hear people complaining about some empty seats. Okay, like when you're looking at the media, you say, "Why are those seats empty?" Well, it's only because of security. It's not because people didn't want to be here. When we went to the convention in New York, you could get day passes for your friends and family every day. You went there in the morning. You requested day passes for the convention, they got them. Well, because of security, they can't allow that anymore. If you weren't registered for the convention long before, it arrived, it got here like a week or two before, you can't get in at all. So that's the difference, because I'm seeing Republicans tweeting and posting saying, oh, the convention's empty, there's no one there.
Well, Joe Scarborough started that this morning. I've been to conventions since I was 5 years old and never seen the empty seats like this. Well, that's because they're not giving out the day passes.
They're not giving out the passes.
Right.
They can't.
For security
reasons. I tried to get
reasons.
one, and it was completely shut down, and I was told the person had to be pre-registered, screened.
Everything.
You know what I mean? So that's why it looks empty. They can't let day people come. Like years ago, you could go for the day. I went to the Philly convention for the day.
Right.
You got to go in. It's different now because of security. You know what I mean? It's you know what? It's Obama who let America get out of control is why we can't have an open convention. While everyone's very proud of the security, think about how sad it is. It's a police state here. It's a police state here. I mean, all the roads are closed. Police are all over you. Security's all over you. I mean, you walk out the door, and they're like, where are you going? Move to the right. I mean, while it's wonderful that I feel safe, I think how sad it is for America that this is like a police state. And that's why there's no one in the convention. We can't give out the passes or the tickets.
Okay, Cuccinelli, Virginia, there's talk that Cuccinelli has ended his political career with the stunts they've pulled. Virginia and Cuccinelli, what were they up to?
Well, like I said, I mean, it all started from Never Trump to unbound delegates to the rules. They really wanted to change the rules of the convention, but I was listening to the person on the Rules Committee from Pennsylvania, and he was saying that there wasn't anything wrong with the rules. States still had freedom. Pennsylvania's still going to have control over how they have their primary. And the Unbound group was trying to say that the rules were top down and they were losing preferences and this sort of thing. Here's what they wanted to do, and I agree with this. I'm glad they wanted to do it, but it just couldn't get approved. They wanted to change the selection of the states who got to go first. They do Iowa, New Hampshire. They wanted to change that, and a lot of Republicans didn't. They like tradition, so that was one of the things. They wanted to reward states that had closed primaries. So they did have a lot of good things in there. But they went about it wrong. They went about it with the Unbound movement, and they tainted their process. And that's the reason no one could trust them, and no one supported them. So that's what happened.
Okay, there's a lot going on, folks, at the Republican convention. We're on the phone with Pennsylvania delegate Lee Snover, and the reason we're focusing on Pennsylvania, it's a swing state. She's asking you out there this morning in Georgia to get the word out that the states that are, going to go Donald Trump, they need your help. So let's start thinking about that. That was a great point this morning. Let's start looking at putting busloads of people on the phones, whatever we got to do for these Rust Belt states that are into play. Well, you got an exciting day ahead of you. You've answered a lot of questions. We'd love to have you back tomorrow to keep us going if you can. This is great because you're telling us the truth of what's on the floor. And that's the reason I don't watch the news networks during the convention. My co-host George and I always say we don't want them to tell us what we just saw. So
right, and Pennsylvania was nice enough to pass and let New York put Trump over the top. So that was pre-planned that we passed so the Trumps could make the speech to make New York the state that put Donald Trump over the top. So
Republicans have a little bit of an issue for the establishment side. It's not just over with Donald Trump, because I think the guy on the stage last night, Donald Trump Jr., is not establishment. And there's talk this morning that he's more conservative than his dad, and he has a bright future and a star is born. So what if the Republicans leave Cleveland and the establishment is done and over with?
Well, I know they've been meeting here. The elites have been meeting here separately. I know because our national committee woman is a huge Kasich supporter, and she spent the whole day with Kasich yesterday. So there are a lot of the elites here are meeting separately and, plotting or whatever they're doing, mocking us. They say we're going to lose. They say we're ignorant and we're going to lose. They're really saying really nasty things out there. And it gets spread around the floor of the convention from the elites. Like when Donald Trump was put over the top, you could hear Ohio saying stuff like, oh, we nominated a loser. Oh, my God, here we go. Down the tubes for the party. And they were making really nasty comments from Ohio. But they are plotting and doing what they can, and I got to tell you, those elites, they don't know what to do. They don't think we're going to win. They don't think we can do it. So we got to show them different. We got to prove them wrong. We got to win this thing.
Okay, well, you know what Ben Carson said. Mama said Hillary's the devil. So I loved it last night. The media's head is spinning off because of some of the things that were said. Thank you so much. You got a big day, a big lineup. Post my Donald Trump Jr. pictures, man. What's up?
Yeah, I will. I didn't even realize I didn't post those. It was an oversight.
Have a great day and enjoy yourself. And go over to Georgia and say hello to some people for us.
I will do that. Okay.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right.
That
Bye-bye.
is Lee Snover. Lee Snover, just for clarification, that is my sister. And we got the truth off the floor. The truth off the floor. Remember that segment.